You're listening to Night Watch Radio, where the quiet hours whisper the loudest. I'm Darian, your host till sunrise. Now, if you've ever worked the graveyard shift, you know it's not the silence that gets you. It's what you sometimes hear in the silence. Asterisk, a few nights ago, I got a call during the 2 a.m. low. At first, I thought it was a prank, okay? But by the end of that call, I had locked the studio door, and I haven't slept right since. Asterisk, I'd been hosting the 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. slot at a small town FM station for years. Usually just traffic updates, classic rock, and the occasional insomniac calling in. But that night was different. Asterisk, it was just past 2:15 a.m. when the phone line lit up. No caller ID. I answered like I always do. Night Watch Radio, you're on the air. Asterisk, there was silence, long enough that I almost hung up. Then, a voice, female, soft, uneasy. He's in the building. Asterisk, I sat up straight. Who's in the building? Asterisk. Another pause. I could hear her breathing shaky, like she was crying. It's the man in the hallway. He's been watching me through the glass for the last 10 minutes. I thought he left, but I can hear him walking again. Asterisk. I turned off the mic feed so listeners wouldn't hear my panic. I asked, where are you calling from? Asterisk, the back hallway. I didn't know where else to go. I thought this was the security line, okay? Asterisk, I felt the hairs on my arms rise. That hallway was just outside our studio, okay? But the building should have been empty. We locked the front doors at 10 p.m. No one else is allowed in. Asterisk, I stood slowly, peering through the tiny window in the studio door. At first, I saw nothing. Asterisk, then movement. A shape ducked out of sight just beyond the hall light. A tall figure, pale face, tea clothes. I couldn't make out the details, but I knew this wasn't a listener prank. Asterisk, I whispered into the phone. Are you safe? Can you describe him? The line crackled. He doesn't blink. I don't think he's real. He just stares, hews, at the front door. Now he's inside. Please help me. Asterisk, suddenly, click. The line went dead. Asterisk, I ran to the control board and hit the silent alarm linked to the police. While waiting, I locked myself inside the booth and kept the mic on. Key, talking calmly to listeners, pretending everything was normal. Even though my heart was pounding out of my chest. Asterisk police showed up 11 minutes later. Okay, they searched the building. Asterisk, they found no one. Asterisk, but in the hallway, right outside the studio door, they found a long, deep scratch along the wall, as if someone had been dragging something metallic. And near the entrance, a footprint, bare, wet, like someone had stepped in from the rain. It had rained that night, and when I checked the call logs, asterisk, no record of any incoming call at that time. Okay, I don't know who she was or what she saw, okay? But ever since then, I've kept the studio lights on, asterisk, and sometimes when the music fades, I swear I hear breathing in the static. Asterisk, stay safe out there, Night Owls. You never know who or what was listening. Asterisk, that night was dead quiet. I remember it clearly. Wednesday, nothing but lore quest, rock, and weather updates. No guests, no scheduled call-ins. I'd just finished playing Riders on the Storm when the studio line lit up. No caller ID, just private number in red. I picked it up like normal. Night Watch Radio, you're on air. Silence. Then a whisper. Asterisk, he's in the building. Asterisk, I blinked. ... Excuse me? The voice was shaking female, late teens or early 20s, barely above a whisper. Asterisk, he followed me in. I thought the doors were locked, but he's here. I can hear him. Asterisk, I turned off the mic feed so listeners wouldn't hear. Ma'am, are you in danger? Asterisk, I don't know what he is. Doesn't walk right, doesn't talk. He just watches through the glass. Asterisk, at first, I thought it might be a prank until she said the words that made my blood run cold. Asterisk, I'm at the back hallway, by the vending machines. Asterisk, that hallway was right outside my studio. I stood, crept toward the small, wired glass window in the studio door, and peeked through. The hallway light flickered faintly, just like it always had, but something moved near the far end. A flash of white, like a shoulder ducking back into the shadows. Asterisk, I whispered into the line. Can you describe him? She paused. He's not wearing shoes. His face looks ... melted, like candle wax. He stared at me for 10 minutes through the door, then just ... walked away. But I still hear him. He's dragging something heavy. Right then, I heard it too. A sound from the hall. Scroll-egg, long, metallic, like steel against tile. I stepped back, heart racing. I asked her name. She never answered. Instead, she said, Asterisk, you don't see him, do you? You're already too late. I froze. Tried redialing. Nothing. The line had no trace of the call. Asterisk, I hit the studio's silent alarm button, a direct link to local police, and locked the booth. I kept broadcasting, trying to sound normal, but I couldn't focus. My eyes kept darting to the door. Asterisk, 9 minutes later, 2 officers showed up. They searched the entire building. Nobody. No signs of forced entry. Asterisk, nothing on the security feed between 1:55 a.m. K and 2:20 a.m. Asterisk, but in the hallways just outside my door, they found long, deep scratch marks along the wall, about chest height. Like something heavy had been dragged slowly. And on the floor, a single, bare footprint. Human. Wet. But here's the thing. It hadn't rained in over a week. The next morning, I went to check the studio call logs. Asterisk. No call from 2:15 a.m. No recording. Nothing. Asterisk. It was like the call never. It happened, but I heard her. I saw the shadow. Heard the dragging metal. Asterisk. That night, I started sleeping with the lights on. Asterisk. And every so often, when I sit alone in this booth after 2 a.m., in the static between songs, I hear a faint breath on the line. Asterisk, like someone else is already listening.